30 seconds left. Sanchez and Steele. Gets it off to Clausen. Clausen stops. Pops. Three-point shot. Oh, my goodness. Pass knocked loose. Riddle comes away with it. The Riddler.
And it's slam dunk by Riddle.
Riddle with the steal and the throwdown. Look into the air. He's got a man open. Passes up. Complete. Touchdown. Yellow. Hey everyone, this is the Loose Cannon, David McBee, and welcome to our very first edition of TLSN Overtime. This is a show we've been trying to get ready for a long time. We're super excited. We're super pumped. And I got a very special guest for our very first episode, the one and only Nikki Guthrie, girls volleyball coach over at Cotter. So glad to have you join us, Nikki.
Thank you. No, I'm super excited.
Well, hey, and let's just go ahead and get this out of the way, all right? My background is a Yellville background, so I'm like, we got to acknowledge this first thing.
Yes, but you're wearing blue, and I appreciate that. So,
yeah, I got the blue hat, blue shirt, everything else, but unfortunately,
we'll take what we can get.
I didn't think about changing the background, so please, all the Cotter fans out there, please forgive me. I'll see if I can get one for the next time I interview a Cotter coach.
Sounds good.
All right, well, Nikki, you know, we've had so much fun. We've got a chance to cover the Lady Warriors volleyball team the last couple of years. And we actually have a connection because like the very first high school game we ever streamed was a Lady Warriors volleyball game. I think it was the Lady Warriors versus Midland in the district championship over at Yellville.
I did not realize that was your first game. That's super cool.
So there's been a connection and we have had so much fun, you know, covering you. But, you know, speaking of Cotter, you know, you actually have a connection to Cotter. I mean, Cotter's actually your alma mater, correct?
Yes, I graduated in 2009 from Cotter.
Okay, so kind of tell us, what is that like for you to come back to your alma mater and now be coaching at the high school that you went to?
So it's a little surreal, I won't lie. So I played on the court that I now coach on, and I don't know, it was my dream. I wanted to become a teacher so that I could coach. And I kind of always knew that I wanted to come back home. We went to Colorado and Missouri and things like that for a little bit, but coming back home has been the best situation. And getting to continue being a Lady Warrior just on the other side has been like truly a dream come true.
Well, now, when you went to high school, did you play volleyball? Did they have a volleyball program at that time? Okay.
Yes. And it was still very new whenever I was in high school. So I actually played all 4 years varsity from freshman through my senior year. So, yeah.
So having that experience as a player probably really helped with your transition to be a coach.
Possibly. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know why they're not getting it. It's just something that in my mind seems simple, but so really having to relearn the sport and break it down differently for the girls has kind of been a challenge at times. But no, yeah, I love that I get to share my love with volleyball with those girls.
Well, that's something we can definitely tell watching you coach on the sidelines. You're very passionate, a very passionate coach. And you really get into it, and it's a pleasure to watch you when you're getting fired up on the sidelines. So.
Yeah, a little into it. It's fine.
Well, hey, so you've had several successful seasons. Now, is this going to be your fourth season coming up?
This will be my fourth season. Every season that we've had so far, we have made school history. We've done better each year, building on it. And I would love to see that continue. This past season, making it to the semifinals of state was huge. Whenever I was in high school, we went to state, oh goodness, 3 years in a row whenever I was in high school. And it was just kind of known we were going to go to state, we were going to lose. It was just more excitement just to be able to have the opportunity to go and try to play. But ever since the last 3 years, we've won a game at state. And so we're kind of flipping the script a little bit and kind of showing our area that we can I mean, our conference has gone and competed at state, including others in our conference, and have won games now too. And so that's really, really cool.
I mean, you have a very competitive conference, but you've been, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess back-to-back district champions now, and then runner-up the year. So your 3 years, I mean, runner-up to district was actually your first year, and then 2 back-to-back district championships.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, now this year, though, of course, this year was probably like unlike any other season that probably any athletic coach has dealt with. And I think back to your season, you were really the first sport, you in football was really the first sport to deal with COVID. So what was that like coming into year 3? You have a fantastic team coming back, but the game had changed. I mean, how were practices like and things like that with all the different restrictions?
So when we first started because we start our practices in the beginning of summer and kind of work through the summer. Because our first game is the second week of school usually. So this year it was crazy because we had all those restrictions where they were not allowed to be on the court together. They had to have masks on. They had to be 6 feet apart, all the things. And so, and at one point they had to be 12 feet apart from each other. Well, that's nearly impossible to get to do anything. They were not allowed to share any equipment. So the girls couldn't pass the ball back and forth. So we did a more conditioning, and things of that sort. Will Height and I kind of teamed up and had our girls in here together so we could split the groups up and just did different sessions so that we could get conditioning done without having the girls all in here all the time. And it wasn't until within a couple of weeks of school starting that the restrictions really started lifting. So we had no team camps, no skills camps, none of the things this season. And that was, that was rough because the girls, we utilized those camps to really hone in on some skills that we need to and work through some things. And then this year, school got pushed back a week. And so we literally, our first day of school, or was it our second day of school? One of the two was our first game. So like school started and season started right then. And we were trying to get the bleachers figured out to where all the families were separated. Kids were only getting a certain number of tickets instead of, just whoever getting to come. And so it was a big trial and error. And it was hard trying to make sure even that our visiting teams had a fair number of their people able to come as well. So, I mean, we like loud gyms, and that was something I was concerned about is having quiet gyms and these girls being used to some noise and not having it. So, I mean, it was a huge adjustment trying to figure it all out. And really, I was nervous that we weren't even going to have a season. So like we had senior night on our opening night because who knew what was going to happen? And we fortunately made it all the way through season. And I am beyond grateful for that, especially for our seniors. So no, it was very challenging, but so rewarding and so worth it.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned seniors, and you had a group that worked very well together. I think of, Ashley Garay setting up, Kate Cheek. I mean, I think I said they had more chemistry than the periodic table with them working together. But, your group of seniors, they were a huge part of your success the last several years. What's some of your best memories maybe with that class that's getting ready to graduate, I guess, in just a few weeks?
So we are losing Ashley and Haley this year. So those are hard. I mean, every year it's hard to lose those seniors. They become leaders on the team. And honestly, their heart is my favorite thing with those girls. They have a heart for the team, for the sport, for all of it. They get excited. They share that love with the girls. They're so encouraging. So it's going to be hard to lose those girls for sure.
Well, I think about Ashley Garay, and I just remember, and I remember, I think it was against, maybe it was Flippin, where she had dislocated her thumb on the court. And, she is in such extreme pain, and she walks over and I'm like, oh, she's done for the season. She basically pops it back in and goes back on and she ends up serving and making a couple pretty big plays in extreme pain. I think I said she was tougher than a $2 steak.
She is the toughest girl that I have ever met in my entire life, hands down. So I believe that happened. Man, that was it was against Flippin. I remember that for sure. And it was in the 5th set and it was tight. Like we were back and forth with Flippin, as we always are. And she relocated herself And then something else happened. Candace Lambert's mom came over, messed with it a little bit, and she refused, like did not want to get on the bench. And I pulled her for a minute and she was like, coach, please put me back in. Please put me back in. And I remember at one point, Kate actually set the ball for someone else to hit so that Ashley wasn't trying to set it. I mean, and we ended up winning the game. So worth it. But seeing her heart was the best part of it all, because that's why she wanted to be there. I mean, that girl, she is tough.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the most amazing moments that of any of the games that I've called. I mean, it was just incredible. But
yes,
you mentioned a player who's been pretty amazing as well, Kate Cheek, who had not just a great year, but really what turned out to be a record-breaking year for the state of Arkansas.
So actually in the nation. So she beat the #1 in the nation for kills per set, an average. And with that, Ashley Garay also got in the top 20 for assists. So both incredible. We had no idea. It was actually Neil Denton at the Baxter Bulletin who reached out to me to let me know when he was kind of figuring some different stats that we had hit, that they had hit those records. And so we got the paperwork all filled out, got all the records sent off, and we really kept it super secret from their families, from everybody, until it was announced. So incredible and so deserved.
I mean, that's amazing. And I stand corrected, not just state of Arkansas, but the entire nation, right here in North Central Arkansas. That's absolutely amazing.
And what's really also crazy about it is nobody in Arkansas has hit any volleyball records. So with NFHS, no volleyball records at all had been set in Arkansas. And I could be wrong on that, but we were pretty thorough when we checked. And so she not only put Arkansas on the map, but also Cotter. And that's awesome.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. So that brings up, the new season that's coming up. You're going to be losing a couple key people.
Yes.
What's kind of your expectations going into this upcoming season?
I still have high expectations. These girls still have a lot of heart. They still have a lot of drive. We are already in our off season. I mean, as soon as basketball ended, the girls were begging to get back in the gym. And so we are back at it already. We have been for several weeks now. We have some things that we're going to have to work on, some spots that we're going to have to fill, and some really hard spots to fill. Those seniors have left big shoes to be filled. And so with that, we still have a lot of talent. We still have a lot of power. I feel very good looking forward, but we have a lot of work to be done first.
And you mentioned a lot of work to be done too. Also, I believe, you have a lot of different camps that you're doing for younger players as well to kind of build up the next generation of Lady Warriors.
Yes. So every year, except for obviously last year, we've done a mini volleyball camp, and that helps the girls. We raise money for their camps doing that. So we do mini volleyball, and that's with 4th grade through 6th grade. And it just gets them in the gym with the varsity girls, kind of lets them see, do they even like volleyball? I mean, a lot of girls grow up and they have softballs in their hands and basketballs in their hands, but not often volleyball. And that's just because it's not as big of a thing, and it's not a co-ed sport in our area. And so I think that's part of it too. And so getting them in here into the gym, kind of learn a little bit of the fundamentals, get them excited, all the things. I think that's super important, and it helps build our program, which is very important too.
Well, you mentioned excited, and I've always said you're an exciting coach. I think I used the word passionate earlier. What do you think is the most fulfilling thing to you as a coach?
Oh goodness. So I won't say who it was, but having the girls. So for example, on senior night, I got some different letters from them, and it wasn't so much about the things that happened on the court that they mentioned, but just them saying, like, you have helped me be better. You've helped me want to be better. To me, that is what it's about. I love volleyball, but I love the girls, and that's really what I'm in it for. And I just love that I have something that allows me to connect with them outside of the classroom. So it is just a different environment, and being able to push them and encourage them to be better and push harder and try to reach their potential. That for me is what it's about.
Well, Nikki, you mentioned classroom. So you're not only a coach, but also you're a teacher. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you're involved with through teaching.
So I am a special education math teacher, and I do 6th grade through 12th grade math. And I do that in the resource setting. And then I also am now teaching a transitional college math ready for seniors course this year as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
busy.
you know, well, yeah, you're a busy lady. And, you know, I know you got ball games you got to get to and stuff. But before I go, I do have a couple, you know, rapid fire questions. None of this is even going to do with volleyball. I'm just going to kind of throw you off.
Yeah.
So, one of them is the last one's going to be pretty controversial. It's something we've been doing on the slop drop. And I'm like, hey, I got to find out what these coaches think about it too. But all right, first question. Favorite carnival food?
Corn dogs.
Okay. Text or call?
Text.
Okay. Then this isn't the controversial one, but I think I know the answer to this one. Favorite MMA fighter of all time?
Tyler Guthrie.
And I remember, you know, I mean, this is off topic, but yeah, Tyler Guthrie back in the day. I mean, we absolutely loved covering his fights, his MMA fights throughout time. And maybe we'd love to get him on here sometime, maybe talk a little bit about some of his MMA background or have him share his thoughts on what's happening with the current UFC. So
yes, that would be good.
I can foresee a future correspondent, UFC correspondent. That would be it. So, okay. Favorite show to binge watch?
Oh, I watch a lot of TV. Probably New Girl, maybe Friends. I like both of them.
Okay, now this is the controversial one. Is cheesecake a cake or a pie?
Oh, I'm going to go cake. Cheesecake.
Okay, it's about 50-50. We've had some say, hey, it's a custard, it's a pie. So that was my controversial question for the night. So, but you know, I just want to say thank you for taking a little bit of time to share about your team. We're looking forward. We're going to be back. We're going to be covering you guys again this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. We look forward. We'd love to maybe have some players and other people come on this show now. And we're excited. It's going to be a fun year. But the big question is, are you breaking out the bell bottoms next year?
Oh, I don't know. Those are retired. I mean, I have my good luck charms each year. And I wore those bell bottoms, 5 games, maybe 6 games in a row. And no, I did not wash them. I wore them every game after you made that comment. But we made a good run in them. So if that's what it was, then whatever.
Well, hey, we look forward to you guys having a good run again this year. And thank you so much for taking some time. And we'll be back again when volleyball season starts. We're definitely going to be following the Lady Warriors. Nikki, Guthrie, thank you so much for taking a few minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate you as well.